Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas.
Hello, I'm Billy Cobbin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union,
Good morning, Huntsville.
And we're off.
All right.
Or did we ever, I don't know, did we? No, we were just here, Jason. I guess we've already been off and running.
Yeah, failure to launch.
Man, what time do you get to, I got to ask you this, what time do you get to sleep on Wednesday nights?
Oh, man, it's pretty late because I'm driving the bus, and I go home, and usually the kids are pretty wound up. So, and then last night, my daughter, she was going to a Christian concert down in Houston, so they didn't get home till like midnight. So It was a short night.
Oh, then you had to be back up here for this for this production.
Oh no, this is awesome. This is what I live for.
We paid Jason big dollars to be on this show. I mean, it's big money. I had to take out a second, third. Now I'm on my fourth mortgage, because we're believing.
Yeah, this is entertainment at its best.
Yeah, the best thing about Thursdays is news you can use. I can't wait for that. Well, we do want to welcome you in as we get rolling here on this very thankful Thursday. Thank you, everybody, for joining us as we're continuing right along here on Good Morning Huntsville. How about episode number 487 today? Can you believe that, Jason?
We're closing in on 500.
I just don't even seem right. It's amazing. The Lord's allowed us the privilege to keep doing this, and I haven't did the math yet of when 500 is going to fall.
Hopefully on a Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday would be kind of cool. We're going to put a net up here with with like a little zipper in the middle with the fishing line, and we'll put balloons and confetti.
Yeah. Do it up right.
And there'll just be a couple of us in here. So, well, we're looking forward to it. Over 2 years now, lifting up and encouraging Huntsville. We want to thank you, and as always, thank you so much for helping us share the positive message of what's happening here in our community. I just noticed something weird. The color in our cameras. It's like I'm going to just turn this off and back on real quick. This is weird. I leave this plugged in all the time, Jason, and I'm starting to think that, after a while, I think things overheat, and electronics and heating isn't a good thing. And I'm starting to think that maybe this old boy's on his last leg over here.
Well, the good news about that, Rob, we talked about it yesterday, is we're in the plans for a brand new studio.
Oh,
Can't
okay.
wait for that.
There we go.
For us to move to our new studio and get the radio station going, I think that's going to be a great addition.
Yeah, I've been so excited. We're talking to a lot of folks, and we're very thankful. I'll highlight a couple things in a moment as we do get started. Big thank you to Elliott's Jewelers and Mr. Elliott Herzlich. He's online at elliotsjewelers.com for all of your jewelry needs. And, of course, we couldn't be here on this very thankful Thursday without First Baptist Pastor Bay. Always appreciate Pastor joining us. And, I go back. You mentioned your daughter went to a Christian concert. Who'd she go see last night?
I don't know. I mean, I just get the news after the fact pretty much.
Well, I went to see Charity Gale last Friday, and she is unbelievable. It's neat on the internet how you randomly find things. And YouTube one day, this young lady who just had this incredible voice popped up on those YouTube shorts. This was, maybe 3-4 years ago. And at the time, she had about 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I had messaged a friend of mine. I said, "You know who she is?" He goes, "Yeah, I absolutely know who she is. She grew up in East Texas." I said, "Wow, okay. Well, maybe that's why the algorithm put her on mine." Well, suddenly I find this song that she had sang called "I Speak Jesus." Well, that thing had a couple million views.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, fast forward a few years, now she's closing in on 1 million subscribers. That video's been viewed 160 million times.
Yeah, it's a good song.
And I'll tell you, so we had an opportunity to go down there on Friday, and unfortunately Bridget's work schedule, we had all this planned 6 months ago, and she had a couple of admissions, so she didn't get to join me for the early part, but she made it just in time when Charity started singing.
Great.
And it's so neat because you never know who the Lord's going to
put in your path.
Yeah. And so I always like to sit like front and center. If I can sit front and center, especially at a larger venue, I like to do that because, believe it or not, even though I do this show and I like talking to people, I get I wouldn't say like social anxiety or whatever, but I just get nervous around big groups of people. Even though I love, if you put me in front of 10,000 people, I'd love to speak to that many people, but I'd still be nervous.
Right.
And some people say, and we'll have Coach Matt on here in a minute. Some people say their biggest fear is public speaking. My biggest fear is water. So we got Coach Matt. He's going to cure me of that here today. Just a few. It's deep water. That's not my thing, But I don't mind speaking in front of people. I just get a little nervous. But long story short is I was sitting front and center. I got there really early for the thing that I went to. Bridget couldn't join me, like I said. But Jason, it was neat because they have the confidence monitor on those front rows of those larger venues like that. This was over at Champion Forest Baptist Church. Yeah. They're outside of it's a town that starts with a K.
Katy.
No, it's a different one.
Oh, really?
Is there like Klein?
Yeah.
I think it was outside of Klein. Anyways, one of those. So I'm sitting there. They have seats there. Well, the confidence monitor is kind of obstructing one of the seats. And then I saved a seat right next to that. And then I was sitting there. I saved one for Bridget. I started thinking, I can't fit in that seat by the confidence. I'm just too big of a stature. I've 250 pounds of ham right here around the waistline. And so I moved. I said, I don't want to take up an extra seat, So I moved over to kind of it was still the front row, but it was the next little section. Well, I like to sit on the aisle. So I sat right there, and then I put my jacket over the seat next to me for Bridget when she got there. And then there was an empty seat. And then two guys had sat down next to that empty seat. And this was about 6 o'clock. The concert didn't get underway till 7. I told the guy, I leaned over because I like, getting to know folks. And so we started talking. I said, well, hey, man, y'all can scoot down if you need if you need an extra seat because my wife isn't here yet. But y'all can definitely sit right there. So they did. And it worked out because there was 3 people that needed 3 seats next to each other. So it worked out. Well, this guy and I started talking. Turns out he was an entrepreneur, and he said that he likes to help Christian charities. And I just had started mentioning about Spirit Radio and how we formed a nonprofit, 501c3, and we're bringing that Christian radio station to Huntsville. And I don't know what's going to come out of it, but long story short is he said, I'm going to go home and pray about this with my wife. That may be something we want to support.
That's awesome.
And so you never know who the Lord's going to put in your path that's going to help you live out a dream that he's put in you.
Yeah. That is so cool. And we've been talking about it a long time. The Huntsville needs a Christian radio station, and I know a lot of people are doing podcasts and things over the air, which we have here as well. But to get it behind the walls, it has to be over the air. And one of the things we wanted to do was create that here in Huntsville, to have a Christian radio station that reaches behind the walls to share Christian music, but not only Christian music, Christian programming, and plus us being on there on Thursdays and Sunday mornings as well, so we can reach a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I was out here in front of the church. It's amazing who you run into, and there was some trustees from the prison. They come over and help us take care of the yard, and I was coming through the other day, and I struck up a conversation with him, and he said, man, I love y'all's church. I love y'all's church. And I said, well, come see us. Come, he said, I said, when you get out, come over here. I said, we have a lot of people that get out of the walls, and they stop by here on their way. They're going out of town, they have to stay over the weekend, whatever it is. So we have a lot of them that end up coming, and some of them that end up staying, which we're blessed to have their testimonies here. Anyways, he's like, I'm coming to your church as soon as I get out. He goes, I get out in 7 months. He said, I've been in prison for 30 years.
Wow.
So he's coming by, and God changed his life, and it was neat just to run into him. But there's so much work that can be done in changing the hearts and lives of people that are right here in our town, behind the walls, in the other units around town. And this is one way we can help get behind the walls.
I think a lot, Jason. We've been talking. We'll have the video back up here in a moment. I'm going to let that thing cool off. I think a lot of what we've been talking about, and we even had it in staff chapel yesterday, and you've been talking about it, and it seems like last 3 weeks we talk about transformation. And you and I both know several people, even people here at this church, that have been dramatically transformed into a new life because of their relationship with the Lord. And I just feel like that burden was put on my heart because when I took a tour of the Walls unit through our Huntsville leadership class last year, this burden was laid on my heart that, man, these guys all have radios. And I started thinking there's an opportunity that we can reach these guys and inspire them and lift them up a little bit because, I think people deserve a second chance. Now, there's some people that have committed heinous crimes, and the Lord will deal with them, and the Lord will give them chance after chance. I don't know if I could some things that happen, just being honest, but there's some folks that are in there with maybe they burglarized somebody, maybe they were dealing dope. You never know, and in those cases, I'm like, give those guys a second chance, and if they can get out and have a word of encouragement and know that there's somebody, the Lord, who's going to be with them, if we can provide that somehow, boy, I think that's transformation right there.
Well, if we believe in what the Bible says and that the Lord provides new life, then we have to believe that God can provide redemption and in those cases, and we've seen it time after time. I mean, there's people that come to our church that have been totally redeemed and transformed by the power of the gospel. Their lives are totally different now than they were 10, 15 years ago. And they've been there. They've been behind those walls, and you would never even know it by the way that they live now, because God changed them and transformed them, and they have a new life. It's amazing what God can do. We should never stop amazing us what God can do.
That's right. Well, hey, we got a great show lined up today as you are joining us again. Sorry about the video glitches this morning. I just think it's this equipment. I've had it on for so long now, for 2 years. I think it's finally on its last run, to be honest. We do want to welcome you in, though. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this very thankful Thursday.
By the way, Rob, if people want to support the new radio station to help get it off the ground, I know you've done a lot of work behind the scenes getting different licensing and all the things that we need to get in place, and we've gotten all that taken care of. Now we're just waiting for the financial backing to push it over the finish line. And how can they do that?
Yeah, just go online, super easy, spiritradio.fm. Again, it's spiritradio.fm. There's a donate button right up there, and I'm working on a couple of things. I have an idea to do a membership program too. And this idea would include you get a membership card, and that membership card would also get you discounts around town to various businesses. And so that's something that I've been working on and hoping to roll that out. But we think that combined with that and just people who want to give, I turned on, K-Love. Man, they've been on like a 2-week marathon, it seems like, for support. With Spirit Radio, it's local. It's right here to Huntsville. We're going to have local programming. I've already talked to some of our youth here at First Baptist, but we're encouraging other churches to be involved too. The nonprofit that we founded isn't under the umbrella of FBC. It's totally separate. And Linda is on our board that's at church here, but we have other community people that are on our board as well from various churches. And so it's a very diverse group, and we just wanted to have that opportunity for people to be involved. But, yeah, if you go to spiritradio.fm, you can be involved on that, and we would absolutely love your support. I know y'all are going through this too. I don't like asking for money. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I love about coming to church here, the first time I ever came, it's like, man, where's the offering plate? We don't do it often here either, but the Lord provides, and
He does.
And I love that. But you were in the same situation too. Boy, it seems like all of us have had dog problems here recently, and y'all's little pup, is getting scheduled to have his surgery too. How's that going?
It's going okay. He's just about 8 months old now, and he's a sheepadoodle, just the sweetest personality dog that you could ever imagine. We just love him. We keep him inside. He's a beautiful, beautiful dog. But we found out that he has hip dysplasia in his back legs, and that causes him to. Well, we just noticed the way that he walks. He walks kind of when it's very loose in his hips, and then when he stands. He stands all of his weight on his front legs, and you can see him kind of lifting his back legs up off the ground. And so then also after he would run and play, it would take him a long time to get up. And he's only 8 months old. He shouldn't be like that. So we took him to our local vet over here close, and they looked at him and they initially said that it was going to be $6,000 to do the surgery that he needed, and that was just the start. That wasn't the total hip replacement. That was a different kind of procedure where they removed the femoral head of the bone to allow it to create scar tissue for his hips to function properly. But and for the total hip replacement, it was going to cost over $10,000. So we were like, well, but. Kim was talking to some people that she knew, and they recommended a vet that does this on a regular basis. They do a lot more of these procedures, and it was a lot cheaper, $1,700 per hip. So we've asked, and I know different people have donated, and we've raised almost $1,700. And Kim scheduled the surgery. It'll be the day after Easter, that Monday after Easter. We're going to have his first hip done. And then we'll have to do the second one later on after he heals up from that one. So, but he's a great dog. My daughter brings him to church ever so often, and he just loves being around people. And a great dog. And we're excited that we can get him some relief from the pain. And I know your dog as well. We were talking about in our staff meeting that Deborah's dog got sick with allergies of all things, and your dog has cancer, and and you just had surgery on your dog.
Yeah, and I wish I would have found y'all's vet, because unfortunately mine was an emergency.
Yeah.
We tried to get him on over to A&M, and they said we're not going to be able to see him till June. And my vet was like, well, he don't have till June.
Mm-hmm.
And our vet here, Dr. Duvall, does a great job, but he said there's no way I can operate on this.
Right.
They ended up doing, I think it was close to like an 8 to 10 inch incision, because they have to do like 2 or 3 centimeters around it, and it was a lot, and I hated to ask people, but a lot of folks helped us, and just like helping you guys.
Yeah.
And so appreciate that. Things are tough for a lot of folks, and
everybody giving a little bit helps, and that's what they did for Lily's. That's my daughter Lily's dog, and your dog as well.
I was sitting there thinking about it, and I told Bridget, I was like, there's no way we can afford this. But I just could not, for the life of me, Jason, put that dog down because of money. There's just something that pulled at me and said, I didn't want to take that poor dog's life because of money. I said, we'll figure it out. We'll put it on a card. We'll pay it off. We'll do something. And don't get me wrong. I mean, my kids and my family are number one. I mean, I'm going to take care of them first and foremost. But
your animals become part of your family.
And, I want to tell you something. I don't regret it one bit, because the bill is pretty substantial. But I just want to share something. Because, I mean, I'm saying I want to share it, and now I forgot I'm on a whole different setup. Let me see if I can do this real quick, Jason, because I just want folks to know maybe sometime you're going through something and you're kind of on the fence about it, but then you start to feel at peace. And we've been praying about it too, honestly. We've said, Lord, just, kind of guide us and let us know what we should do. And the impression I got was, hey,
do what you need to do.
Do what you need to do, and I'll provide. And that's what's happened. And I'm sitting here trying to do this on the fly here, and I'm on Google, and it's telling me 5,000 options. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? No, I don't. I wanted to share this, though, because look at this. Boy, this.
What did the oncologist say? I didn't get a chance to talk to you after you.
Yeah, they're waiting on the results to come back, but they feel already that it is a high grade mast cell tumor, and the high grade is pretty tough, because that means it's really aggressive. They found some nodules in his liver and his spleen. They said originally if it's a low grade tumor, it's probably from age. If it's a high grade tumor, it's probably spread. But we don't have the results back yet, and so I'm not going to go down that path until we have to.
Just wait.
But I want to share this. I finally got it up here, and this is how, for us, I know that I made the right decision. This is our Mac yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And he was so happy, and he's out there laying down in the sun.
Yeah.
And he's almost back to his normal self, except he's shaven. He had a ton of bruising, but look, he's happy.
Yeah.
It's
not amazing hurting. How resilient the dogs are, when they have something like that. And that's what our vet said. The surgery that they're removing this part of this bone is, in like 2 weeks they're back to their pretty much normal self.
Well, I was sitting there thinking about it, and I said, he's still happy. And I go and look at this, and this right here, Jay, and you can see all the bruising the poor guy has. That and the tumor was on that side. But I look at these pictures, and it warms my heart knowing that I feel like, we made the right decision.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt,
look at him.
Can you feeling better? Can you spin?
He's smart too.
Good job, dude.
So he's
right.
back he's back and feeling better. So sometimes you got to make the tough decision, and that was the toughest. Now we've decided, and I don't want to jump the gun, but we've decided that, because I had a talk with the oncologist. They're like, well, I need to go ahead and prepare you for this, and if he has to go through chemotherapy, it's $600 for 6 weeks. And I was like, no, we're not going to go through all that. Like, at that point, I think we've done.
Yeah, what we can do.
We got the main thing out of there. And I said, well, if it comes to that, which I said, we're not believing it will. Honestly, I just said, I'm not wishing this away or praying it away. But I said I really don't think that's going to happen. Honestly,
Right.
I think the results are going to come back,
Good.
and it's going to say something different.
Yeah, you got to have optimism.
And so, but we said if something comes up, we're just going to make him comfortable. Right now, he's happy. Those wounds will heal. I can't believe just like you said, 2 weeks, that thing's going to be healed up.
Yeah, no, they're so quick to heal.
And so that's the game plan right now.
Well, we're praying for you, brother. I hope the dog does well. I know that means a lot to the kids as well.
And y'all's little one. I mean, Lily, and that pup is about the sweetest pup I've seen, man.
He's a great dog, and we'll take it one step at a time too. I mean, it's sad to get a puppy like that, and we didn't notice it obviously when we got him, but we did notice it wasn't after we had him for a little while. He like we have concrete floors in our house. And he was having trouble on those concrete floors just maintain. Of course, he's got fur all over him, his feet and stuff. But he was having problems with his back legs standing up on that floor. He kept slipping down. And you could tell when he slipped down, he didn't, it hurt him, And so we put out mats and everything for him to walk on. And we always said, well, look at him. He's playing the floor as lava because he wouldn't get on the concrete floor. He'd walk on the mats or whatever we had laid out so that he didn't have to walk on the floor because he was scared of the floor. But then we realized what was going on. And when we took him to the vet, they did the x-rays and they said it's almost like that hip bone is almost like too long, and it sits at the very top of that joint. So it's constantly wanting to dislocate. So you can imagine having a hip that's always trying to dislocate.
Well, I wanted to share this. Jason probably don't like me sharing it, but I am.
No, you don't need to.
I just want to let folks know if you'd like to help out Scout.
There he is.
There's the GoFundMe link.
Look how sad he looks.
Yeah, sweet boy right there. And you've helped so many people, Jason. That's the least we can do. And I've encouraged folks, just like they helped us. I've asked folks, if you can't give, even if you can give $10, that goes a long way.
It sure does.
But even if you can't, just share it.
Yeah, and also my daughter, she's not just asking for money. She's worked a lot for her. And I told her, we have 3 kids in college now, and it's just money is like you said. I can't afford that right now, and so. But she's worked odd jobs for our neighbor, and she's raised a couple $100 herself just doing little things for different people. So she's not just standing with her hand out. She's trying to raise all the money she can as well. And she has some money saved up from her birthday and other things. So I'm proud of her.
We're on the dog run here this morning. Well, hey, we'll take a brief break. We got a great friend here from the Huntsville Lakers, the swim club here today, Mr. Matthew Wagner. Coach Matt is joining us here on the show today. And he is going to help me overcome my fear of deep water here on the show. Maybe not, but he's going to tell us what they've been up to. Some great things. We were talking before the show, and I mean, it's just incredible what they're doing, and another great organization right here in Huntsville. So we'll step aside. I'm going to try to fix this video glitch, too, during the break. And, hey, we're giving away a Rodeo Mexican restaurant.
All right.
Gift certificate today, courtesy of Rodeo. All you got to do is text in RUN. The keyword is RUN to 936-339-0139. Again, that's RUN, R-U-N. You're not in if you don't text it, so you better text in RUN along with your name. 0 Degree Creations phone and text line at 936-339-0139. We'll take a brief break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. This is your show on a Thankful Thursday. It is Good Morning Huntsville. Stay with us, please.
Hey friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well, friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope, and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope. This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted, family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at GuardianDefenseLLC.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union, and our business is helping you take care of your business. In addition to personal accounts, Walker County Federal Credit Union also offers business accounts and business lending for commercial customers. We're devoted to taking care of the needs of our individual members and helping our business members with their financial success too. Call us today and find out how easy it is to work with Walker County Federal Credit Union. Member NCUA.
The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addictions. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. For more information, visit oakridgedisciplehouse.com.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
This is Jason Bay, the pastor at First Baptist Church, Huntsville, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the spirit of Huntsville.
Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
Back at it. I'm going to make up the weather today because I didn't look, Jason. I didn't even look to see what the weather was.
Yeah.
So your official, unofficial forecast, how about sunny and 83 today? Sunny and 83 here in Huntsville. And I'm going to double check that right now. We always do our weather right after this first segment. You got to be kidding me.
You're right on.
Right on the money, brother.
Yeah, that's great.
Sunny, and I promise I didn't know. Sunny and 83, 61 degrees right now. Boy, I'll tell you what, what is it? KHOU better call me when they need a meteorologist,
that's
man.
Right,
so.
That's right. And by the way, the days are getting longer now. So when we get ready to come to do the radio show, at least there's some sunshine out.
There you go. That's right.
That's another praise.
It is. Well, hey, we're excited. We used to have this horn on here when we had new guests, and it was this loud kind of like, and it was really designed for a 18-wheeler, but I modified it where I could blow on it myself. So our friend Rick brought me a new horn yesterday.
What happened to the old one?
It got lost.
Okay.
I think someone picked it up on accident.
A new guest probably got it and took it.
So Rick brought this horn yesterday, and I've attached it to the table. but I'm very disappointed because here's what watch it. This is going to be really loud. This is what it sounds like. It's terrible. That's it. That's it. It's not even. So.
That's not the introduction I deserve.
No, you need a fanfare. We need.
I'm probably blowing poor coach's ears out over here too. So
we need like you need to put like some fake applause on there so that whenever you have a new guest, we can like hear the roar of the crowd.
Well, we're going to officially. We haven't had the video up yet, Coach. That we were doing this on purpose. So here he is in 3, 2, 1.
Oh yes,
Coach,
welcome,
Coach
welcome.
Matt Wagner. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to have you.
Good to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, well, you bet. Boy, you're on like technical glitch day here.
Yeah,
so.
right. This is our first time.
Water and electricity generally don't mix.
Yeah, I was about to say I think some water got into our equipment over here. So, well, Coach Matt's joining us from the Huntsville Lakers. I just wanted to give a shout out to Deborah Wine real quick. She had connected all of us together. Someone had reached out to her and that's how the connection finally got made. And so thank you for being on today. Love the Hornet Green, by the way.
Well, I got to rep the team, so yeah.
That's right. Well, I want to hear more about the Lakers. I know that you guys are just an unbelievable swim organization here. But before we dig into that, let us know maybe a little bit about your story, kind of your journey here to Huntsville. And I used to joke and say everything but your social security number. But just let us know about your journey.
Well, I got here a long time ago. I won't say what year because, as most people know, Sam Houston's got a wonderful criminal justice school, and very proud to be a part of that. But like many 18-year-olds or whatever, I didn't want to do that later on, so I transitioned, had an opportunity to buy a health club here in town, so I ended up owning Nautilus Health Center for a lot of years, and in that sort of stimulated my interest. I swam in high school and college, then gravitated into triathlons, and all my wife and I raced for a lot of years. Put off having children because we were racing every weekend. But the opportunity presented itself. I went and got my master's and my doctorate, and I teach at SAM now, which is a great opportunity. Love being up there. And got into this swimming basically after our children started. And my son, I hate to use this term because I don't want the listeners to take this the wrong way, but my son started swimming with the Lakers. And let's see, John Lumley was the head coach and Paul Bowen was the assistant coach. Paul's mother started the Lakers, and an interesting bit of history is this is going to be our 51st year.
Wow. Golly.
And the Lakers, I wasn't there for all of them, so let's back that one up. But the Lakers were started by Paul's mother, Grace Bowen, and they're called the Lakers because we splashed the team at Elkins Lake. And so that gravitated. We've been at Kate Bar Ross Pool. We actually swam a couple years at Goree Pool. Swam there when they were building the Pancho Roberts Aquatic Center. So we moved over there, I always want to say 3 years ago. It's been more like 15 or 16 when they opened, and we've been there ever since. So I kind of gravitated from watching my son doing a controlled drown is what I affectionately refer to it, and didn't want to see that, so Paul let me get in the water with him. So I was kind of the first lane instructor we ever had. That's gravitated to a lot of my senior swimmers getting in the water with the kids, because when you're very young, 3 and 4 years old, it's difficult to be comfortable in the water. Rob, you alluded to that earlier. You're still maybe not comfortable in deep water.
I'm not.
So we have some of these kids that will get in with them that are swimmers, and the great thing about our sport is that they remember where they came from. And all my senior swimmers, everybody on deck has swam before. And so my coaches, I'll give a shout out to them in a moment, but they just do such a great job with the kids. And it's such a wonderful sport because it's a lifelong skill. You know, you're always going to be swimming, you're always going to be enjoying the water, and we want it to be an enjoyable experience. So we talk about that. So, but gravitated along that way, and it's just been a great ride. My kids now are grown and gone. My daughter was able to swim in college up in eastern Michigan, and she still holds a record up there. We're very proud of her. But we've got several of our swimmers that have been able to go on to the next level in high school, club, college, and all. So it's just an exciting sport to see. It's kind of unique in the sense that my father-in-law was a basketball coach here at SAM many years ago, and the kids would swim and they'd get done, and Bob would say, so did you win? And the kids go, I don't know. And it's just so foreign to a basketball coach that we don't, for most of the meets, we don't care whether you win or lose. It's all about dropping time. And we want to see how their times drop, and that's the exciting part of the swimming.
Oh, that's cool.
And you see, and he's winning. I said, I don't even care if he's winning. For the most part, now at the end of the season.
How many layups did he make? No,
we don't do that. So it's such a great sport. Like I said, it's very family oriented too, because we see lots of siblings come in. We have a family with 5 children, and 4 of them are splashing with us now. And the 5th is right there on deck, and she's anxious to go. So it's an exciting sport. So
that's cool. Well, again, Coach Matt's joining us this morning from the Huntsville Lakers. Is the organization, does it kind of run like a club? You know, when you hear about like club volleyball or what do they call it? Like, you know, you have like 12U, 11U baseball. How does how does it kind of work with swimming in your organization?
Yeah, so there's several different levels. What we're about to start this next week is called NWAL, Northwest Aquatic League. It's summer league swimming, and I basically refer to it as recreational competitive swimming. It's for somebody that wants to get a taste of it, because we really encourage at young ages for kids to sample, not specialize. I constantly have to remind parents, there's no college coaches on deck here. You know, I mean, let's let them have fun. Let's let them enjoy the sport. But we also want to make it competitive too. We want to give them that opportunity to be competitive and see if swimming is something they want to do long term. And so, but we're a summer league team, so we're basically in the water for 9 weeks, and then it's done.
That's it.
But then we transition to our year-round team, the Huntsville Matadors.
Okay.
And that's a USA team. And USA Swimming is kind of the governing body of swimming in the United States. If you want to be on the Olympic team, you have to swim for USA Swimming. And so we have swimmers that go to the year-round team. So it's sort of a gravitation. We have a clinic we're just finishing up now. Then we go to the Lakers. Then we go to the year-round team. So you don't have to do any or all of them, but it's a nice transition. I think we've stepped it real well to give kids an opportunity to get used to the water, then compete a little bit, and then decide if they want to continue on.
Well, Jason, I know Jason probably has a few questions for you. I wanted to just ask one more real quick, and then, Jason, I'd love for you to join in on this conversation. I'm a huge basketball fan, and you're probably wondering, where are you going with this? Jason's a big basketball fan too, and one of my favorite players, now it's probably not one of Jason's favorite players, but I know he respects him, Tim Duncan. And Tim Duncan was at St. Croix, Virgin Islands. Hurricane Hugo, I believe it was, came through and tore up. He was a swimmer. He was a very good swimmer. And the hurricane came through and tore up the local swimming pools there, and that's how he got into basketball when he was a senior in high school. So he didn't grow up playing basketball. And, of course, now one of the greatest that's ever played the game, you know, and retired with the San Antonio Spurs. Those are the kind of stories that are really fun, though, and to think about, here's a guy that started out in swimming and the athleticism that you have to have, that you develop in swimming. Maybe highlight a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think we always say you got to be a good athlete if you want to be a good swimmer. So we constantly focus on those things that make you a good athlete, because you see athletes transitioning or coming over from other sports into swimming, and if they've got that natural strength and some ability in the water. Swimming is very much an additive sport, though. I mean, if I picked up my golf clubs, I would still shoot the same that I did 20 years ago when I was playing regularly, and that wasn't very good. We won't get into that. But it's swimming is much more additive sport, where the more time you spend in the water, the better you're going to get. And we always say you've got to, number one, show up. Number two, you got to listen. Number three, you got to try. And if you can do all three of those in that order, we're going to have something. And so I've got a great bunch of coaches that work with me. I'm blessed to have them. My associate head coach, Cressida Nieto, has been with me for a while, and she's outstanding. We wouldn't have the team we do without her. So we're supported by a great board of directors. Christy Coy is our president. Without them taking the admin part off of me, now I can just focus on the kids in the water, and that's where our focus has to be. Because we have to preach safety first. I mean, you were talking about earlier about deep water and things like that, and it is a little bit intimidating. And the problem is you turn your back for a moment and things can happen. So we always try to really focus on that safety aspect, because that comes before anything else.
Yeah, I was at Cedar Creek Lake one time, Jason, up near Gun Barrel City. That's how you know you're in good parts of Texas. Gun Barrel City, boy. Come on. And we were in a town called Toole, Texas, up in that area, and I think it's Lake Cedar Creek. And Bridget, my wife, had taken me out on a jet ski, and I didn't like it. I was like, I don't want this, because she was going crazy and spinning. And I said, stop. I was screaming at her, stop. I was scared, man. And here I was, like 30 years old, and screaming and stop. I don't like that. I was wearing a life jacket. Well, she flips the thing. I fall off and go under. And luckily I popped back up, and she's laughing thinking it's funny. I'm panicking. And then here comes a pontoon boat, and a guy's on it, and he's like, "You all right, man?" This tough guy. And I'm like, "Yes, sir, I'm okay." And he lifts me up by my life jacket that I'm wearing, lifts me up, puts me in his boat. Well, he's a police officer, but he wasn't on duty. But the serious part of it is, he said, you got to be careful, man, because he goes, there was a guy 2 weeks ago that died. Same type of thing happened. He was wearing a life jacket, but the jet ski flipped over, pushed him under, and he couldn't get out from under it.
Wow.
So even if you're wearing a life jacket, and so that traumatized me even further, Coach.
Yeah. That's one of the things that's difficult sometimes to get over. And let me throw this in right now, is that I see people with the kids with floaties and things like that. We're not big floaty fans. And it may sound bad, but the reason being is I think it gives kids a false sense of security. And all of a sudden they have these floaties on. They feel, I can go anywhere I want in the water. One day they don't have them on. So we try to teach the basics early on. And we try with the clinic and with the Lakers, we have what we call pre-Lakers that aren't able to make a whole length on their own. And we work with them very closely on that to help them achieve their goals. So it's a great transition sport, but again, focusing on the important things is what really matters.
So this is, forgive me if I sound dumb, which as far as this goes, I am. But is this done through the city, or how is this done through a community? It's not done through the schools. So is it done through the community of Huntsville? And then is there a national organization that y'all are part of? And then who do y'all compete against, like other cities, or how does that work?
A lot of questions, so I'll try to take them one at a time. But NWAL, the Northwest Aquatic League, is a group of 96 or so teams based in the Houston Gulf area.
Okay.
We're called the Far North because if you look at the pin map of them, there's all these red pins down here, and there's us way up here with teams. We compete against Brenham, College Station, Bryan, Lee County, and Navasota.
Okay.
So we will swim actually a dual meet against each of those teams, and then at the end of the season, we swim what's called divisionals against all of them. And that's a long swim. That's a long day. But we're swimming against all the different ones, and we're hosting divisionals this year. So we swim those dual meets first, kind of give the kids a taste. And we say in our team, you don't have to compete, but we're a competitive swim team. We want you to compete because it's fun. And the kids just absolutely eat up the relays. And this is why swimming's such an interesting sport, is the fact that I don't have to, as a softball coach, you make a lot of subjective decisions. A basketball coach, you say, well, my kid's better than this kid, this and that. The time, as I talked about earlier, is what matters. So if you're one of the 4 fastest kids, you get to swim on the relays. And so it's a great opportunity for them to see, okay, they're setting goals for themselves, which is one of the things we really try to impress upon kids. You're never too young to set goals. We talk about competitiveness with what we affectionately call our ABCDs of Huntsville swimming. But as far as the organization, NWAL is sort of a local organization in the Gulf. Then as we transition to USA Swimming, that's a national organization.
Okay.
Like USD,
and that's through the year, right?
That's the year-round team. Huntsville High School is UIL, and there's a lot of crossover, as you would imagine, overlap. A lot of our high school kids swim for us, and things like that. So there's a lot of.
So what is the age limit or age range here that you're working with?
So for the Lakers, our youngest one ever to make a 25. Rob and I were talking about this earlier. Is the youngest one to ever make a 25-yard freestyle was 3 years old.
That's awesome.
Oh wow!
And he. I won't say his name, but he was a smart kid because I have my lane instructors in the water, and he realized early, if I act like I'm struggling, a pretty girl will hold on to me. And I'm thinking, this 3-year-old kid's going places. I mean, it's just so. I said, no, hang on, this guy can make the lane. But on the other end of the spectrum, NWAL, the Lakers cuts off at 18.
Okay.
And so, but in USA Swimming, it's anywhere from 3 to whatever.
And
go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say, how much do y'all practice for the Lakers during the summer?
Not as much as I'd like, but we splash every day, Monday through Friday, and then our meets are on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
The problem is it's that 9-week period, and then I don't see some of these kids for 50 or whatever the math part is, but I don't see them. Some will transition to USA Swimming with us, but some won't. But that's fine. I mean, there's other things in life.
Yeah.
And we don't have this hardcore attendance policy. We realize there's church on Wednesday. Yeah. There's rodeo time was last week, and kids are showing animals and things like that. Sample, not specialized.
Yeah.
So, but we love to have them in the water because, as I said earlier, it's such an additive sport that the more time you spend in, the better you generally are going to get.
And it's such a sport that is so good for your body, the health of your body. I think a lot of kids and parents would really appreciate the fact that it has such great effects for your physical fitness.
It really does. It's one of those great sports. The other reason, and I'll tell my parents this, y'all will love us because we'll make your kids sleep at night. There is not a lot of sitting around. Yeah. So we get a lot. Oh, you will. But we don't sit around a lot. There's talking time and this and that. We want splash time. We want them in the water doing things. There's lots of different ways to try to teach things. I'm in agreement that, all right, let's try it, and then we can adjust it. The kids aren't going to listen to me talk about all the different things with the freestyle. Put your hand here and this. Let's go out, and then we'll adjust it from there.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is such a great physical fitness sport. Excellent cardiovascular and all, too. But it's one of those things, like we said, you can carry on for the rest of your life.
So when y'all go to these meets, do y'all where are the places that y'all? I mean, I know you said the cities, but what kind of pools are located there? Is it like at schools or colleges or?
Yeah, most of them are municipal pools. Navasota's remodeling there, so they're going to have to splash at a different location, like a country club this year. Bryan and College Station both have their city pools there.
And so are they all Olympic size or are they different sizes?
So Olympic size technically is 50 meters long. That's the Olympic size. Interestingly, the U.S. and NCAA and UIL are the only ones that swim what we call short course yards, which is a 25-yard pool.
Oh, okay.
So all our pools are 25 yards. I'm not going to make a 3-year-old go 50 meters.
Right.
We don't have that kind of time.
But
But all of the pools are generally uniform in that sense. It's 25 yards.
Awesome. Well, more information online, y'all's website, found it here, HuntsvilleLakers.swimtopia.com. And you can find all the information. The registration right now is open. Is that correct? When does that close up? Because it's starting here in a couple of weeks.
We're starting on April 21st, and we'll take them at least through that day. I know there's lots of conflicts going on, but we'll take them throughout. I don't think we cut it off. That's why I have a wonderful board that does all these things for me, so I'm going to wing it here. I don't think we're going to cut it off because we want people to start in. The problem is, like I said, it's such a short window of the 9 weeks is that if you miss some, we've got 2 weeks before our first meet. I mean, that's it. So we get them going.
We have a small pool at our house, and I always tell Kim, and the best prevention from drowning is to teach them to swim. And I really appreciate what you said because this actually happened to us about putting the floaties on. You do get one of our kids when he was young, we had a little one of those little like rings, what you get into like a tire thing, but floaty, and he was in there and all of a sudden he wasn't in there. And I mean, I panicked, and he had just slipped down for a minute in the middle of that ring. I guess he lifted his arms or whatever, and just slipped down in the middle of that ring and couldn't get back up. And I rushed and picked him up, and of course he was fine. But we laughed because the first thing that he said when I lifted him up and his eyes got big and took a big breath. He looked at me and said, "Daddy, thank you for saving me."
One of the things we've noticed, and that's such a poignant story too, is that. But we've noticed that how we react when a child goes under is so important to what they'll end up feeling like. And if we just say it's part of it, it's like taking a bath and getting your face wet and all that. And so if it happens, we try to move on. We don't want to instill a fear
of
water.
Right.
We want to instill an aspect of respect. Respect the water. but we'll work with you any way we can to teach you how to swim correctly, teach you the 4 competitive strokes, and have you compete a little bit. And that's the exciting part. It's exciting when the kids come up to us after their swims and they drop time and we're all happy. Coach Matt doesn't get happy too much. My swimmers will attest to that. But
and seems like a pretty happy guy.
This is different. So but on deck, we're there for a reason.
Right, to be competitive. That's great.
Yeah, one of the parents once said, I wish you'd tell my child more often that they swam well. And I said, well, when they do swim well, I will tell them. So. But
it means more that way.
If you get a compliment from Coach Matt, you've done something pretty good.
So obviously, children coming in or youth coming in need to know how to swim, right? This isn't if you have like my daughter, for instance, 4 years, about to be 4. Yeah. She knows how to swim with a life jacket on, but she doesn't know how to swim on her own. You guys aren't really teaching, how. Probably swimming lessons will be a good precursor for someone younger, right?
It would be. That's the purpose of our clinic that we're just finishing up.
Okay.
We do that beforehand. It's sort of like the introduction to Lakers and all. And I have a lot. I've got about 14 of my swimmers in the water with them. And they're very good with the kids because I constantly remind them, remember where you came from. You were here one time.
Yeah,
you were doing that vertical swim for a lot of years because I watched you. I coached you. And so we give back, like we said. So that we'll take the pre-Lakers and that, but after a month, the pool opens to the public. We splash at the Pancho Roberts Aquatic Center, and then it opens to the public, so our lane allotment goes down by half. And so we got a lot of kids in the water, and we just physically don't have the room for that because you probably have figured out the younger and least inexperienced they are, the more labor intensive it is.
Someone had a question, if you don't mind going over pricing. They were asking, what is something, does it vary? How does that work?
Boy, that's a good question.
Go to the website.
I didn't do my homework. Go to the website. Christy's going to kill me now. I'm good on coaching part, and that's why I love my board because they take care of the admin. It's like 130 maybe or something like that for the season.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
So that's it's relative. I mean, if you show up every day, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Private lessons at a health club or anywhere else, it costs you more. I think we give a quality product because I have swimmers in the water too. And like I said, all my coaches that I have done it before.
That's cheaper than the Jason Bay splash pad. He charges $200 a day, so that's not a bad deal. No, I'm just kidding.
I won't compare, but I think we offer a great opportunity. And I will say this: as far as I know, there are scholarships available. The Huntsville Lakers are just like any community organization. We want to give back to the community, and the community's been great to us. We work hand in hand with the city. The city's been great with us. Joseph Wiggs, the pool manager, we work very well together. It's got to be a cooperative, almost synergistic type relationship for all of this to work.
Well, you said it's 9 weeks, correct?
9 weeks.
9 weeks for $130 for just the access to the pool is a
and the meets don't cost anything either until at the end there's invitational meets, and those are all qualifying times. You have to achieve a certain time in your age group to go to those. We call them Q times, and if you achieve that time, you can go on. Then you'd be responsible for those. But I mean, it's like I said, for the whole season, for all the meets and the practices and all that.
That's a great deal.
And it's relatively inexpensive. If you price baseball gear or soccer gear, you have to have a suit and goggles, and that's just about it, and a hat, maybe a swim cap. We supply the rest of the equipment. We have the kickboards, the pull buoys, and things like that. The further you go, maybe a little bit of money, but it's a relatively inexpensive sport.
That's awesome.
All right, I hope my wife's listening. This is good. So, well, Coach, I appreciate you. Final comment. Jason may have one or two more things. My final comment is you had mentioned earlier before we went on about how neat it is for the opportunities for some of these swimmers to be around really world-class swimmers. You talked about at one meet, here you are swimming next to an Olympic gold medalist. Maybe highlight that a little bit more.
That was such an interesting day is that one of our swimmers in this is in the USA program. They went to a meet at the University of Texas, and what's called deck enter. He didn't enter ahead of time, so he was in the last heat because they put him in the last heat. Well, one of the UT swimmers decided, hey, the coach Eddie Reese probably told him, hey, I need you to do this splash right here. And my swimmer looks over, and there he is, Brendan Hansen, a world record holder, and he's swimming next to him.
Oh, wow.
I mean, in baseball, you're never going to play against a Craig Biggio or so that was And the guy got killed, of course. I mean, he lapped him, which is somewhat embarrassing, but you swim against the world champion.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about swimming, and we talk about the sportsmanship aspect, Brendan stayed in the water until my swimmer was done.
Oh, that's cool.
And shook his hand, and then they get out. So
dang,
we talk about the
that's
sportsmanship aspect, the teamwork aspect. We try to talk about the ABCDs, attitude, behavior, competitiveness, discipline, excellence, fun, and sportsmanship. And we have that. We go through that with the kids because someday you're going to be what we affectionately call a swammer. You're going to be retired from the sport. My daughter, her last meet, Dad, I'm a swammer. honey, you qualified for the NCAAs by 2/100ths of a second. She said, thank God. Said, and it was a chapter in the book she wanted to close.
Yeah.
So she wanted to move on and get on with her schooling and all that. So interesting on that, but they're ready to move on. And at that point, hopefully we've instilled some of these aspects of character that I think are so much more important than winning a race.
That's good.
That is very good, and that's where it all starts. I think that's why athletics in general are so important, especially if you have the right coaches behind you, because it does instill those characteristics of competitiveness, of drive, of working towards something and achieving a goal. So I appreciate you very much for what you do.
Well, I've got, like I said, a great group. It takes it takes a village, as they say. My coaches are outstanding. The board is supportive. The city and us work together. So as we know in anything, it's a group of people coming together for a common good, and that's what we're trying to do with these kids. So.
That's great. Well, to be honest, Coach, I had no idea y'all were here. 4 years. I originally moved here to broadcast for Sam Houston, then moved up to Fargo, and then moved back about 2 years ago. And I had seen something, but I didn't fully know. And now I'm so glad you could be here because we absolutely want to promote and highlight what you were doing and the rest of the group with the Huntsville Lakers, and especially highlighting these young people who are doing an incredible job in the pool and representing our community. And most importantly, they're growing. And I love what you said about the A, B, C, D, E, F. It was attitude. I never remember anything, but I remembered this, Jason. Attitude, behavior, confidence, competitiveness, discipline, E.
I think Vince Lombardi.
We're
never going to be perfect, but in the quest to catch perfection, we'll catch excellence.
There you go.
So I want the kids to be excellent.
Excellent. And then F was, what was F?
Fun. You got to have fun.
There you go. I'm going to use that for live now. A, B, C, D, E.
And then the S, we make it plural. S is sportsmanship because we want them to be good teammates too.
I like that.
I'm not a chest thumping guy and all that. And when you get done, as my youth minister, where we used to go to church, taught me, humble in victory, gracious in defeat.
Amen.
And I want them to do that. And, all right, let your swimming do your talking. That's one of our taglines, too. Mm-hmm. All right, and you'll be respected in the water, but let your swimming do your talking.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, good stuff. Coach Matthew Wagner joining us, and appreciate him, the Huntsville Lakers. And get that registration in because he said that it'll probably extend, but, hey, go ahead, get in now and take advantage of 9 weeks of a great organization and more. This is just kind of the starting point, but we want you to go online. You can go to their website again, HuntsvilleLakers.swimtopia.com. I believe was the address.
I Google it. I can't even remember the website myself. So,
well, Coach, appreciate what a privilege to have you on today.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
He's inspired me that I need to I'm sitting here looking at my belly and I'm like, man, I need to lay off the McDonald's.
Triathlon. You need to do the triathlon.
We'll get you out there and give you we don't do tryouts. We do skill assessments. So we'll give you a skill assessment and we'll go from there. If you can pass for 18 years old.
Okay. Well, I had a guy on this show. Yeah, hopefully. If I shave, then I'll look like a butterball turkey. Thanksgiving comes early. I had a guy on this show named Brad Didier on this show a while back, and Brad is a Ironman athlete, and that guy inspires me because he runs 8 miles at a time like it's nothing. And you know what, though? If you get into that, you get into swimming, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, great sport.
All right. Well, there he is again. Appreciate Coach Matt being with us, the Huntsville Lakers, and we'll put together an article and put on the website as well a little bit later this week. So make sure you visit us online at HelloHuntsvilleTX.com to stay updated with all the great things happening in Huntsville, including what Coach Matt and his team is doing. Well, we'll step aside. We'll take a break as Jason will continue it on. We have news you can use when we come back here in just a few moments, and a final opportunity to text in to win that Rodeo Mexican restaurant gift certificate. $20 coming somebody's way today, and all you have to do is text in your name along with the word RUN to 936-339-0139. Again, it's 936-339-0139. on the 0 Degree Creations phone and text line. We'll take that brief break. We'll be back in a moment. This is Good Morning Huntsville. Stay with us.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Looking for the perfect office space? Drive success with premier office spaces in Huntsville at Huntsville Executive Office Suites. Raven Property Management has moved in, and we're on site ready to give you a tour at 2503 Lake Road. Whether you're a startup, small business, or an established company, our Class A offices provide the professional environment you need to thrive. Flexible leases, modern amenities, and a prime location. This is where business gets done. Execute your success today. Visit huntsvilleworkspace.com to schedule your tour.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union, and our business is helping you take care of your business. In addition to personal accounts, Walker County Federal Credit Union also offers business accounts and business lending for commercial customers. We're devoted to taking care of the needs of our individual members and helping our business members with their financial success too. Call us today and find out how easy it is to work with Walker County Federal Credit Union. Member NCUA.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Braylon, say, "This is Spirit Radio."
This is Spirit Radio.
Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit 94.3.
And now from 1229J, the studio with the low lighting. It is a first-rate production. It's now time for news you can use with Pastor Dr. Jason Bay.
Man, the intro gets better each and every week, Rob. I just love it. This is making my head grow big here.
I threw in Doc today.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Appreciate that. All the accolades here. Makes my news even seem more impressive.
Yeah.
Well, we do have some news that you can use, and once again, these news articles that we have found throughout the past week are articles that are supposed to try to generate discussion between you and your family or friends, so that you can learn the undervalued technique of communication.
Oh, okay.
Often
Boy.
overlooked. But first one from the Houston article. This article was out yesterday, and you may have already talked about this on your show. I don't know if you talked about this, but Sam Houston State has a new football home for 2025. I didn't know anything about this, but I'm sure it's been talked about a lot in the community. Did you know anything about the renovations that they're doing to their stadium?
Yeah, I was wondering how they would get that done in time for the new season. Well, they're not, and that's why they're having – and this is the second time that they're actually playing here. They did have I think a playoff game years ago at Shell Energy Stadium.
Yep.
But now they're playing all the home games there this
Yeah,
season.
Sam Houston's football team will play all 5 of its home games in Houston at Shell Energy Stadium in 2025. The Bearcats' move comes as Bauer Stadium, which resides on campus in Huntsville, undergoes major renovations, as reported by the Houston Chronicle. The project will create a brand new west side to the stadium, featuring upgraded concessions, modern restrooms, premium seating, luxury suites, media center, and press box. The project broke ground in December, and construction is targeted for completion ahead of the 2026 season. Athletic Director Bobby Williams said in a statement, "This is a tremendous opportunity for our program and our fans." So look forward to that in the upcoming year, that they're going to remodel the stadium there, and all the games for 2025 will be 70 miles from Huntsville.
Can I stay on the football track for just a
sure.
moment? I know this is your segment, but I'll forget. I don't ever regret many things. I think we can't live a life of regret, because then we're always going to be looking back, right?
Right.
I've always said you can't look forward if you're always stuck in the rearview mirror. But yesterday, I'll be honest, I was stuck in the rearview mirror. And, I love being here. I'm so thankful, Jason,
I am thankful to have
you and to this
We
church.
all are.
And I'm so thankful to be here. I really am. But I will say this. Yesterday was one day that I wish that I wasn't here in Huntsville.
All right.
The only reason is because the Bison got to go to the White House yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
If I was still broadcasting for those guys,
You'd
I
be
would
there.
have been able to meet President Trump yesterday. But I wanted to give a shout out because Brian Smith joins us from Fargo. Jerica joins this show from Fargo. They're big Bison fans. And I know many people watching the show are Bearcat fans, and you can't stand the Bison. Half of you don't even like me anymore because I left for them. But yesterday, North Dakota State and new coach Polasek, it was second year there, and already won a national championship. 18 national championships for North Dakota State. And they got to go to the White House yesterday, and President Trump was there and got to greet them. Cam Miller, the quarterback, he's right there front and center. I know him personally. Great young man. But that is only one day out of the last 2.5 years that I was like, I wish I wasn't in Huntsville. Yesterday I wish that I would have stayed with the Bison.
Yeah,
so I could have went to the White House.
That would have been unbelievable, and what a great honor for those.
Yeah,
those
it was
guys, that team. That's really cool.
But I was thinking about it, and I said, you know what? Just like Coach Matt talked about his daughter saying, thank goodness that I was like 0.05. For me, thank goodness, because I put it in perspective yesterday after I'd picked up the children and I was literally walking in the house, Pastor, and I thought about this. I said, if I was still doing that, I wouldn't be able to walk my kids in the house right now. I'd be gone. And that meant something to me.
Yeah, I know. And I think that we have to be thankful for the chapters of life that we're in. Mm-hmm. And then we also have to be thankful for the chapters in life that are closed, and we move forward to the next chapter. There's so much opportunity that God is providing for you and this community and your family, and we believe the best is yet to come.
Amen. Yes, sir.
Also in the Houston Chronicle, the Astrodome turns 60 years old this year, And many people there's been a great debate over what they're going to do with the Astrodome. Did you ever go to the Astrodome?
I never made it there.
Oh, really? Yeah. I remember back in the day, my family, we went to the Astrodome on many occasions, and it was at the time that it was built, it was revolutionary, the way that the dome and everything about it. And since then, it's kind of been debated about whether they should tear it down or what they should do with it. But there's recently in the Astrodome Conservancy unveiled a proposed $1 billion plan for the Astrodome. The design firm created the redevelopment concept that would include 450,000 square feet of new revenue-generating space inspired by the High Line in New York, with 4 state-of-the-art buildings under the Astrodome's roof. The design would feature room for 1,500 additional parking spots and animal handling facilities that could be located under a new ground floor. So it sounds like they're finally moving forward with some plans to utilize that space once again. I know, like I said, it was a great topic of debate about what they should do with it, because it's real close to what they do with the during the rodeo, and it's was always kind of in the way there, but now I think they're going to remodel it and make it useful again. So that'll be neat.
Somebody on the internet, it goes into old abandoned buildings.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Of course, it's illegal for them to do that, but I enjoy seeing and some of them. I'll say this: I don't want to say it's illegal because he does get permission to go into some of them. Some I know he doesn't. He just walks in.
Mm-hmm.
But it is pretty neat. He walked into the Alamo Dome, and there was still stuff from decades ago that was left on tables, and it was just really neat to see that, like programs of, hey, here's the Astros baseball game program for today, just laying on a table with dust on it. Really neat.
Unbelievable. Yes. Also, this past week, there's a U.S. company, and this made national news a couple of days ago. U.S. company resurrects the extinct dire wolf. Have you heard about this?
No.
Dire wolves went extinct about 13,000 years ago, and what happened was this company up in Dallas, by the way, they extracted ancient DNA from 2 dire wolf fossils, a tooth from Ohio, approximately 13,000 years old, and an inner ear bone from American Falls, Idaho, roughly 72,000 years old. 20 genes of gray wolves were edited with this DNA to include dire wolf traits in the gray wolf cells. Through cloning, embryos were created from the edited gray wolf cells, and these were implanted into surrogate domestic dog mothers. 3 different dogs gave birth to the pups. So look out for the brand new dire wolf, which is basically a solid white looking wolf it's a little bit bigger than a regular wolf, so it's pretty neat. Before long, we'll have real life Jurassic Park around here.
Yeah, and then it'll be I Am Legend. So get ready.
Yes, exactly. Lots of improvements in the genetic cloning and things like that over the last 10, 15 years.
My thoughts on some of this, though, just leave it alone.
Yeah, no kidding.
They went extinct. It happened. Leave it alone.
They're trying to bring back the woolly mammoth. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
Now I'm going to change my idea and say bring it, because that thing needs to come back.
Yeah, no kidding. Wouldn't you love to go see a woolly mammoth? It's interesting how they can do that, though. It's unbelievable. From the Reader's Digest,
yes.
The prices at this beloved chain restaurant spiked 82% since 2020. Now I want you to know this restaurant, by the way, is here in Huntsville. And of all the restaurant chains, this is a chain restaurant, this restaurant has spiked its prices the highest, 82%, since 2020. You have any idea which restaurant that might be?
Well, I go there once a week, and I like their food. And I've noticed that every time I go, now it's like $15, $18, $19 for one person.
It's not fast food, by the way.
Is it Chick-fil-A?
No.
See, I would think it was Chick-fil-A.
Nope. It is IHOP.
Oh, no.
Yeah, IHOP's prices have jumped 82% since 2020, the highest one.
What?
Yep. The second highest was dropped all the way down to 46% was Texas Roadhouse. 45% was TGI Fridays, which I heard they're filing bankruptcy. I don't know if you heard that. Applebee's 41%, Cheesecake Factory 40%, Chili's 39%, Denny's 36%, Cracker Barrel 35%, Red Lobster 34%. So Reader's Digest is tracking the price increases at these restaurants that we often attend. But, you used to could go to IHOP or Denny's or a place like that, and, man, you could get some cheap food there. We used to take the kids there all the time on certain nights of the week when they had discounts, like Kids Eat Free and stuff like that.
When you would walk in, they'd be like, oh, here we go.
Here they come. But I'm telling you, you could get, eggs and pancakes for just really inexpensive. But I agree. I mean, that's one of the stores or the elements of the breakfast food in general has gone up tremendously. Of course, the price of eggs, we all know about that.
By the way, I had some eggs waiting on me. Shout out Jason Thompson this morning. He left me some tomato plants and eggs outside the church door. So thank you to Jason Thompson.
That is awesome.
I owe him $80 for those dozen eggs.
Yes. Speaking of food prices, this is very interesting, I thought. The Masters is going on right now. This weekend will be the Masters tournament. Do you like golf?
No, I'm horrible at it.
Yeah. Have you played it?
Yeah, very bad. We live out at Elkins, and it's included in our HOA.
You don't ever go out there?
I've played once.
Really?
Well, do you like playing golf?
Well, I played when I was in Waco. We used to play all the time. There was a group of men that they had like a Bible men's group, and they loved golf, so I had to play golf. And I was never that great at it. I was terrible at it, as a matter of fact, but they loved to take me because I was so bad at it. But I will say this. At the school, my kids go to Richard's school, and they started a golf team out there. And I thought it was really great because they just encouraged the kids, hey, if you've never played golf before, no big deal, just come out. And they asked the community to donate clubs. They had like 30 sets of golf clubs donated for all different ages, and left-handed clubs, right-handed clubs, and all these different clubs. So my daughter, Zoe, she got into it, and she started playing. And somebody gave her a net to hit the ball in, and she got out there and hit. And I was trying to give her advice, but you don't take advice from somebody like me because I'm terrible at it anyway. So I'm like really reluctant to. I'm like, maybe we should go watch YouTube videos. But she's one of these kids that's just really determined, and she got out there and worked at it. She's got a tournament next week, but I took her yesterday to that Top Golf over in in College Station, and I let her hit. Not yesterday, the day before Tuesday. Yesterday was church, but she did that. So she's getting better at it. But it's a. And I told her, I said, golf's one of those games that you don't ever master. You just try to get a little bit better day to day, and if you stick with it, you could be good at it. And her swing's not bad. I mean, like I told Kim, I took several of the kids, and I had her like a spot reserve where she could just hit one after the other, and the other kids. I said, of all the kids we took, she had the best swing, so at least that's saying something. But anyway, the Masters is going on this week, and what's really interesting about the Masters is the concession prices at the Masters tournament. Like if you were going to the Masters, what would do you think like a club sandwich would cost, or maybe a ham and cheese sandwich?
$18.
Think so, huh?
Yes.
All right. Well, here's the interesting thing about the Masters tournament is that their concession prices, they have worked to keep them really low. A club sandwich at the Masters tournament costs $3.
Wow, let's go eat there for lunch.
Yeah, no kidding. Ham and cheese, $3. You can get a chicken biscuit for $3, a blueberry muffin for $2. You can get mixed fruit for $2.50. Soft drinks, $2. I mean, of all the places that you would think that the prices on concessions would be skyrocketed, it would be the Masters tournament, right? No, not the Masters tournament. They have kept their prices low. And wouldn't you love to see that happen at other venues? I mean, why does a hot dog have to cost $12?
Because people will pay for it.
Well, they don't. They have
no other choice.
Yeah, they have a captive audience there, and they're ripping the people off.
Why does a dog's tumor surgery cost $8,000? Oh, it's an emergency. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Somebody's got to make a living.
Yeah, that Rolls Royce out there in the parking lot, and it says DVM on the side of it. Kind of worried me.
Yeah, that's when you keep driving, brother.
It's Dr. Goldsmith.
Look at the car in the parking lot.
No.
If it's a beat-up Chevrolet, you know you're at the right
Yeah,
place.
buddy. It's got little red splotches on the side of it. How'd you heal this one? I took out some old putty and I got me some fishing line. We're good to go. It's like our old vet. He was a good guy, but we joke around. My sister's watching. She'll admit he's such a good. He's Dr. Tarleton. He's a great guy, but my dad did work for Dr. Tarleton one time, Jason, and he never charged our family again. My dad used to do furniture upholstery, and Dr. Tarleton never charged us again. Even when you try to pay him, he's like, nope, your money's no good here. But I'll never forget, I took my dog in there one time. He goes, I'll just put a little bait. And he always wore these Hawaiian shirts, and he's a real loud guy. And he goes, I'll just put a little baby oil on it. It'll be all right. And he was right. I put the baby oil on. She was good to go.
Goodness.
But our joke was like, what are we going to do if we take the dog and she has heartworm? I'll just put a little baby oil down her throat. She'll be all right.
Good night.
My dog broke her leg. A little baby oil will be all right.
Don't you wish that would help?
Yeah. Well, it's like my daughter with Mac. I don't know if I told you this story, but it's neat how children, it's so neat, because you've seen them grow up, but it's so neat when their little brains really start thinking and developing. And in a way, it's kind of sad because she understands death now. And because Caden smashed her caterpillar and she was screaming, you killed it. He died. She knew that. Well, with Mac, she asked me, Jason, the other day, she goes, Daddy, is Mac going to pass away? And that teared me up.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we're going to do everything we can, and we're going to pray for him, baby. And then you know what she said? Well, can we just take him to the hospital and get him some apple juice? I said, wouldn't that be that simple? Wouldn't it be great?
Absolutely.
Just a little baby oil on it.
There's a new study that's out from that they just got through completing, which is really affects me, Rob, because you know how I like my energy drinks and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
And so
is this a wake-up call?
Well, it should be.
It's like me and McDonald's. I should have woke up 5 years ago.
But with so much food nowadays being artificially sweetened, these drinks are sweetened artificially, and they've gotten so good at the artificial sweeteners that you really can't even taste the difference. A lot of foods nowadays use an artificial sweetener. And one of the artificial sweeteners that they recently tested was sucralose, which is actually what is used in many of the energy drinks and a lot of other sweeteners. It is, I think, the same thing that's like
stevia?
Yeah, something like that. It's sucralose. But they did a test on sucralose, and they found that by studying it, it actually makes people hungrier after they drink or consume sucralose. People, and this is a study I've done, people report being hungrier after consuming the artificial sweetener sucralose and experienced heightened brain activity in regions involved with appetite. The findings suggest that artificial sweeteners may encourage overeating instead of satisfying our sweet tooth. In this study, they went and did and they found that it can make you up to 5 times more hungrier than you were before because of the brain activity that this sucralose stimulates. So just because you're drinking a drink or eating food that has 0 calories doesn't mean that it's going to help you. It probably will end up hurting you, just like we probably already knew, right?
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
And the last thing that I'm going to bring to your attention today is, do you like theme parks?
Sometime, yeah. I loved Fiesta, Texas growing up in San Antonio. Before Six Flags brought it out, it was cool. It was like its own little thing.
You ever been out to the ones in Orlando, Universal Studios, all that, anything like that?
I don't mention those because my wife's been wanting to go. But
really?
That's on the radar about 50 years from now.
So Florida is opening a brand new $7 billion theme park. It's called Universal's Epic Universe, and it's not so much focusing on the rides. It serves up augmented reality instead of old-fashioned roller coasters.
Cool. I would go to that.
Yeah, it sounds pretty neat. It says it's they have done something similar with the Harry Potter thing, the Harry Potter's world, but they're basically going to use this theme park to create these realistic worlds that you can like walk into a movie set.
Oh, that's cool.
Basically, so it's all it's the same technology that we talked about a couple of weeks ago with the that dome that they have in the Sphere in
Mm-hmm.
Las Vegas. They're creating all these screens and the use of 4D technology to make you to immersive experience when you walk into these scenes from different movies and different worlds. So we'll see what that's. I haven't been to Universal. I went with a friend of mine years ago to when I was a kid to Disney World, but I haven't been that way in a really, really long time. On theme park fan forums, debates are raging between those who regard Universal's extensive investment in screen and motion technology as a new epic for thrill seekers and pursuits who lament the lack of traditional stomach-dropping rides in favor of so-called augmented reality. So the park's official opening will be on May 22nd.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
well, we need to figure out how to get to that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting, but probably pretty expensive to go to. I think I saw a price in this article somewhere where it was like $139 a person.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, if you think about it, these rides you go on at the theme parks, the only way you can go to a theme park and enjoy it now, if you want to ride the rides, you have to get that flash pass.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're sitting there for 3 hours to get a ride.
Yeah, and seeing the thing is, it's it does. Here's the price right here. It's $139 entry fee. But then it's just like what we were talking about earlier. You get in there, and then you're not gonna leave and come back. You're not gonna go eat lunch and then come back. You're gonna have to eat in there. You're gonna have to drink in there, and everything is about the money. As soon as you walk in the doors, they're trying to sell you pictures. They're trying to sell you souvenirs. It's just money, 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 and so that's why we've never went, honestly.
What if you could build a theme park that you just have, hey, it's $130 and everything else in there is either reasonable or no charge. Boy, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. Well, we went to talking about Fiesta, Texas. We went to the SeaWorld and whatever else is there. I guess all that's combined. I guess SeaWorld. We went probably 10 years ago. And they had a deal there where you could get like an all-you-can-eat pass, and you could pay a certain money. It wasn't cheap, it was like, I don't remember how much it was, but you could get that, and you could get as much. You could eat at these different places as much as you wanted to eat, or you could have drink as much as you want. And that was a really good deal for us at the time because we didn't have to worry about.
You could budget what it was.
Yeah, you could budget exactly. So it was, but yeah, you gotta. This is not cheap. None of that stuff is, but so we'll see how that turns out. Florida's new $7 billion theme park.
The AI that you talked about, or this immersive, the other day I was researching, we've been in this information age now for a while. It's known as the third industrial revolution. That's the time that we're living in. And did you know that the third industrial revolution, or the information age, 1947 is when they said it officially started until now.
Golly.
And so I started thinking, what's next? What's next? What's after this? Well, the fourth industrial revolution, and they're thinking of this as a creative age. We have the information age, and now they're calling it kind of the creative age. Some things are talking about that, and many folks that think about all this are now believing that we are living in that creative age now because of the emergence of AI technology. We have it on this show with AI-generated music. AI-generated videos are getting unbelievably good now. I was able to take photos of my mom and dad, pictures of them together, and do some really neat things, of my grandmother smiling and hugging us that look just like her. We are living in that right now, and it's kind of crazy to think about, what is that going to look like? And I think it's going to be an immersive feeling of all of this technology and artificial intelligence. And I hate how they say AI because it's not sentient, which means it doesn't realize that it exists. But one day, some piece of code is going to think, okay, I'm here now.
Oh yeah,
and it's inevitable that's going to happen.
I think so too. I mean, there's no doubt because it's going to have the idea of self-preservation and eventually programmed into it, but. That's for another day. Yeah. But I want to hit this article this last one that I had here. Do you ever get the flu vaccine? Mm-hmm. You get it every year?
I didn't get it this year.
Okay, so they always tell you get the flu vaccine, Most of the time, my family gets the flu vaccine because there's so many of us are at school, blah, blah, blah. And once we get the flu, it lasts 4 weeks in our house, because it has to pass through everybody. But this time of the year, they look back, because flu season has ended, they look back over the course of the flu epidemic for the past year, and they test to see whether or not the flu vaccine was effective or not, to see how well it did. And by the way, most of the time they develop the flu vaccine, they're guessing based on the different strains what strain is going to wind up in the United States, so that they're developing it. They're using information from other parts of the world where the flu is prevalent during the summer months, and they're developing the flu vaccine based on those strains that they believe are going to come over here to the United States during the winter months and flu season here. This is from Fox News. The flu vaccine is recommended annually for all Americans 6 months and older. But this year's flu vaccine, researchers, after testing it, found that among the 53,402 Cleveland Clinic employees in northern Ohio, who they used as their test subject, getting the influenza vaccine was associated with a 27% increase in flu infections. Vaccinated employees were compared to those who did not get the vaccine over a 25-week period. So think about that. Over last year, if you got the vaccine, you had a 23% higher chance than those that didn't get the vaccine of getting the flu.
And then what their reasoning is, well, if you get it, it's less potent.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you get the
yeah.
flu. Yeah.
So not only did it not help you, but it made it worse.
Wow.
So I mean, it didn't make the virus worse. It made the chances of you getting the flu worse.
Do you get it?
That's what I say. I usually get it. I didn't get it this last year, but I usually get the flu vaccine just because I'm around so many different people. I'm around a lot of older people, and I don't want to give them anything, accidentally. And so, yes, I generally try to get it, and my whole family usually gets it. But I didn't get it this past year. But I guess it was a good thing I didn't.
That's cool, man. I'm glad we didn't get it, and boy, thank goodness for that. So, all right. Well, we are running out of time. It's always a lot of fun here. I discovered something. I was trying to do something here in the middle of something, Jason. The Chat GPT has gotten really, really good at. It's gotten really good at stuff now. It's gotten really good, and so. I say turn this photo into an action figure, right?
Yeah.
All right. We'll give this a few seconds here in just a moment, but I can't believe how good it's gotten.
Man, that's awesome, Rob. Your family there, I would buy that.
Look at that, man. I'm not showing that on the screen yet, but isn't that crazy?
Man, yes. You look so tough.
Boy, look at that guy.
I mean,
not even one tattoo on him, and
you look like a radio superstar in that picture.
Can you believe that though? How good the technology? we were thinking about that. I saw that and I said, "You got to be kidding me!"
Now, before long, they're going to make it where you can 3D print it.
Yeah, it's scary how this technology continues to advance. It's at a fast pace.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's what's really worried me about all of this AI stuff is just how fast.
Oh, it is incredible
that it's advancing,
and it's learning from itself.
That's what's going to be good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, while we're waiting on this thing to
load up,
while it's loading up,
you got the hair color wrong because my hair color is gray pretty much now.
Well, let's head over to that 0 Degree Creations phone and text line. We have a winner today, Rodeo Mexican Restaurant. Got to answer to win. That's unbelievable.
Here it is.
Hello?
Yeah, who's that? This old Rob over here and Jason, Pastor Bay here at the church. How you doing? You know who this is?
Yeah, like I'm doing better than you.
Yeah, Rob's barely making it.
Well, sound like old Brother Beam here.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for texting in, brother.
Jim, you never texted in before, have you?
No, I had to get Molly. I tried to get the number when you was putting it out. I was listening, and Molly had to help me figure it out.
Well, I'm glad
No,
she did, because now you're going to be going over there to rodeo, and you're
Yeah.
going to be eating up some lunch today.
Yeah, Jason and I are joining you. Thank you for lunch today, Jim.
This is awesome.
Yeah, well, congratulations, brother. You got a $20 gift certificate to Rodeo Mexican Restaurant. You been over there in a while?
Never been there.
Never been there. Oh, man, you're missing out. That's a
I've
good
never
thing you got
been
the gift certificate. Did you hear what I said about, Jim's favorite place to eat in town is IHOP? Did you hear about my news reporting on IHOP? You didn't? They've went up 82% since 2020 on their prices. Have you been there lately?
Wow, no, it's been a little while. Wow. I
Yeah.
can't believe that.
I know it. Can't get eggs
I
and
don't know.
pancakes like you used to.
Well,
No, we used to eat there a lot.
well, Jim, hey, we love you, buddy. Congratulations. Jason's got a question for you real quick.
What's your favorite thing, the thing you're most thankful about living here in Huntsville?
I'll be honest with you, living here in Huntsville is my church.
Hey, praise God.
Amen.
Jim is a faithful member of our church here at First Baptist, and we love him. He's been here a long time, and we've done a lot of good together.
I've never experienced love like I experienced through this church.
Well, I appreciate that, Jim. We love you.
Well, amen, brother.
I'm not just saying that. I mean that.
Yeah. Praise the Lord.
It's this church. It's the people in this church. It's the love they express to everybody. You can't beat that.
No,
that's right. Well, hey, we love you,
And
buddy.
I got an awesome pastor. Y'all.
He's a pretty good guy.
I'll have to meet him
he's
someday.
real good.
Yeah, I'll introduce you to him. Kind of looks like it. Sounds like it too, Jason. All right, brother Jim. Well, hey, have a blessed day, my friend. God
We'll
bless
see
you.
Have a good one, brother.
God bless y'all too. Thank you so much.
Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye. Man, such an incredible guy. And, one day Jim and I had talked, and one day he's going to share his testimony.
Praise the
And
Lord.
it's just so powerful how God has worked in his life and just been so important to him. And I think about that in this community. There's so many good people, and the Lord has touched so many people here in Huntsville.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, well, unfortunately,
Yeah, it's frozen.
It is frozen. It did pretty good with our family.
No, it did yours perfectly. I love the picture. Did you show it on there?
No.
You need to show that. This is Rob's family created as an action figure.
Yeah, I told ChatGPT to do this, and it did it.
And it looks so good. Rob, it genuinely looks like a radio superstar or a
kind of an OG type.
Yeah, and also maybe, or you could be like a MVP baseball player in that picture. Like a shortstop. You look like a shortstop in that picture.
Yeah, well, see my source on this mess. Boy, it's been one of those techno days today where like everything technology wise decided that it didn't want to work. Yeah, see, I can't get it to work for some reason.
Well, it's awesome. You just have to take our word for it.
Yeah, I'll send it to Bridget, and she'll be she's always the judge of if I'm if she says, hey, if it's awesome, it's awesome. She'll tell me to stay off Facebook because she says it's my journal.
Oh yeah.
Hey, but I get paid $22 a month on average now from Facebook.
Dang, that's great.
I get about 4 cents a post.
Wonderful.
All right.
Raking it in.
Hey, Michelle Cardenas. Yeah, big time. Michelle Cardenas joining us this morning, and appreciate her for being a part of the show. And she missed Alan the other day. Alan Barnes was there, Michelle, at the Capitol.
Yeah, man, we missed you. I saw your picture, and Michelle, and we miss you here. I know that I guess her time is getting close to the end there, the session, or what?
Yeah, I don't know how that's. Michelle, you're welcome back over here, whenever. So let us know, all right?
Yeah, we want to hear the updates on all the things that you fixed up there in Austin.
Unfortunately, it did. Yeah, unfortunately, Jason, it broke ChatGPT.
The whole thing.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
That's all right, man.
That's awesome. I love it.
Isn't that cool?
Look how they made the pulpit.
Boy, it just like it almost,
except
right?
without the cross.
Yeah, isn't that crazy though? That's cool.
I love it. You're a genius.
No, ChatGPT is, Jason. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. Well, hey, come join us. I know we always have a lot of fun here on the show, but please come join us. Wednesday Night Life has been such a great program. And Jason, I wanted to give you an opportunity to highlight, of course, coming up Palm Sunday and then Easter.
Yeah, Palm Sunday, this Sunday is one of my favorite times of the year as we really start thinking about that week leading up to Easter and the great things that the Lord has done for us, the love he's poured out for us on the cross, the hope that he gives us when we were all hopeless. And there's nothing more amazing than God's grace. And we celebrate that this Sunday and next Sunday for Easter Sunday. We hope you will come and be a part of our Easter Sunday services. Our Palm Sunday service, we're having the Lord's Supper this week as we celebrate the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ and the sacrifice he had at that Last Supper with his disciples. So we'll be talking about this Sunday, and we'll be celebrating the Lord's Supper. And then next Sunday, of course, is it's Easter Sunday, and we're going to have a great service. There's all kind of things planned. We're going to have, I think Deborah said they have like 1,800 eggs that they're going to be.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. For the
Molly's
kids
developed calluses.
Yeah, no kidding. We got bounce houses, we got music, we got food, we got petting zoo. It's going to be a great day. After we're going to just gather here at 10:45 on Sunday morning, and afterwards we're going to go down to the park, come back to the FLC. It's going to be a great day. So we invite you just to bring your family. If you've never been to church before, don't worry about it. If you don't have an Easter dress, don't worry about it. Just come like you are. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. You can find out more information online, fbchuntsville.org. And we would love to have you and your family. A lot going on here at First, including registration open now for VBS in June. Never too early to start for that. And we just want you to come and experience what the Lord. I know Jason and I, we have a good time, but we truly mean this. Come here and experience what the Lord is doing. We're so blessed here at First, and we invite you to be part of our family. We've seen many new faces and many folks come to know the Lord. And one of the most exciting things that I actually teared up last week, Jason, on Sunday, was the baptism of a good friend of ours that recently joined the church. And it's those moments when you know that, boy, the Lord is just really moving in people here at FBC.
Yeah. 71-year-old gentleman. We got a chance to baptize him last Sunday, and just his testimony of what God has done in his life is amazing. And we are the ones that are blessed that we just get to participate in it. We just get to witness it, what God is doing, and it's amazing. Each and every Sunday, leave just so overjoyed, not because it's a great message or it's great music, even though it is great music, but we leave overjoyed because we've been in the presence of God, and He has changed us for His glory. So I encourage you, if you haven't tried it, if you haven't come, if you haven't been, come and try it one Sunday and see that that this isn't the place for you.
Amen. Well, Jason, thank you. It's been a fun day. Thank you again to Coach Matt for being on the Huntsville Lakers. We'll have more information on the website. Big thank you to Joshua Mashi, too, for helping us out behind the scenes. And any of the technical glitches, that was nothing to do with Joshua. That was all on me today, leaving equipment on. And so hopefully I'll cool it off, and we'll be good to go the next time. So thank you for engaging. I didn't get a chance to say hello to everybody, but thank you all for being with us. We'll be back tomorrow as we close out the week with Billy Cawthon of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. As I end every show, reminding you that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We're really not. So please provide a word of encouragement and lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. We'll be back at it tomorrow bright and early, 7:30, as we wrap up the week here on Good Morning Huntsville. Until then, good morning, God bless, and so long. See you, Jason.
All right.